G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and this is another happy flying video. But before we get started with the story, I thought this was a really cool clip. I enjoyed watching that. Look at that sneaky little Adam, as I'm cruising around, just popped in front of me, and he was absolutely hauling. So I was really impressed with that. But all good things must come to an end, and there we go. Slow it down for him. Goodbye. But I had so much fun on this track. It was absolutely awesome, and it was actually kind of hard to pick which clip I could put in for the happy flying. But and nevertheless, let's get started with the story. And I know it looks like I'm missing the track here, but I'm actually sort of looping back so I can catch up to my friend and do a bit of filming, because I always think it looks really cool. We get some really nice footage when you're following the quad. Alrighty, so today's stories are all about throwing things, and I'm probably about the same age as the last story, maybe 4, 5, possibly even 6, but let's just say I'm 5 years old. And this one is about throwing a Lego plane. You can probably guess how this is going to go, but we got me and my dad, we got this awesome Lego plane. I say me and my dad, but of course it was probably for me. Who knows? Anyway, so we got this really awesome plane. I can remember we stayed up really late one night sort of building it and putting it together. It had like 30 pages of instructions, and it was probably like 9 o'clock. That's probably what late is. Anyway, and I wasn't allowed to play with it until the next morning. So we built this thing, and then I can just remember Dad sitting it on the kitchen bench, and I'm super stoked, and I can't wait to sort of get it out and play with it the next day. And the next morning comes around, and I run, and I'm like, Dad, can I please play with the Lego plane? And he's like, sure. And we lived in this sort of house. It had a little bit of like a veranda sort of out the back. It was a bit high, maybe some stairs. And I can remember getting this plane. I grabbed this Lego plane, ran out to the veranda, and I chucked it as hard as I can. And as I'm running up the hallway, I can hear Dad yelling out, Stuart, stop, Stuart! But it was too late. This thing in my mind was going to be flying around, and I must have been obsessed with flying from a little age. Anyway, I grabbed this plane, hurled it as hard as I could, and I just watched this thing plummet straight down into the concrete and shatter into like a million pieces. And I was so upset. I couldn't understand what had happened, because in the box it looked like it was flying around. I'm pretty sure there was like clouds and stuff in the background. So I was super devo, well that's Australian for devastated, super devo about it smashing into the ground. The other thing I was thinking about too, we had also like at that same house like a big sort of white garage. It had like some cement sort of sheet. It wasn't too nice, but it was like a sort of white concretey looking garage. And we also had a peach tree. And I can remember I used to pick the peaches, and if you threw them really hard against... Oh, this feels weird telling... I don't think I've ever told my dad this story, but if you used to throw the peaches really hard against the sort of white shed, they would leave these big orange splatter marks, and, you know, obviously I thought it was pretty cool, but it was pretty naughty, I guess. And I can specifically remember one time Dad saying to me, Stuart, have you been throwing the peaches against the tree? You're not going to get in trouble if you tell me the truth. I just want to know if you're throwing them. And of course I was like, no, I haven't been throwing those. And I don't know what his master plan was, and looking back, he probably knew it was me all along, because then he said, oh well Stuart, I think I'm a bit worried, because we live near a primary school actually. He's like, I'm a bit worried because it might be some other kids coming home from school, and I don't want them picking our peaches and throwing them at our shed. And probably in my mind I was like, sweet, scapegoat, yep, definitely not me, it's probably those kids, Dad. But knowing all along, he probably, now I think back on it, he probably did know it was me. So if you ever watch this video, Dad, I'm really, really sorry. Yeah, it was me throwing those peaches when I was about 6 years old at the fence, but you probably knew that anyway. Anyway, I hope you liked the story, a bit better than just some random music in the background anyway. Subscribe for more FPV related content, and as always, happy flying!